This is Creator Showcase. I'm Amy Stone, and right now I'm here with Melissa Bird to talk about her show, The Thinnest Veil. In each episode of Creator Showcase, I talk with a woman who is a creator. She's got a podcast, she's got a YouTube channel, maybe she's got a Substack newsletter. It can be a lot of things. And what we talk about here on the Creator Showcase is who she is and what she creates and who it's for. So if you're looking for a new show, you're in the right spot. Melissa Bird, welcome to Creator Showcase.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. All right, so let's start with this. The name of your show is The Thinnest Veil. Share with us if there's a story behind the name.
Well, I really wanted to create a podcast where we could talk about the liminal spaces and the spaces in between. And whether it's talking about society or politics or religion and spirituality, I wanted to create a place where we could have conversations about piercing the veil and moving through the things that we are nervous about when we think about going into the unknown. So that's why I created the podcast.
All right, so I said right before we started I wasn't going to interject and ask follow-up questions because it was all about you, but do go ahead and tell us a little bit about what that word is, liminal space.
Well, I think a lot of times we live in the in-between. So not everything in the world is actually either or. And I really love exploring the both and, whether it's me personally or with my guests, really talking about how in life we live in really both and scenarios and nothing is rigid, that actually when we connect with ourselves and with the planet, we realize how things transform for us within those in-between spaces.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what is the format of your show? Is it you by yourself as a solo speaker? Is it an interview show? Tell us more about the format.
So I do both. When I first started, it was just me talking. And then I started deciding, I really love talking to people who inspire me or who create a different way of thinking within me. And so um, I have it on all of the podcast platforms and also on YouTube. So we do a video and audio format. And it really started as a way for me to explore the things that I was thinking about. And then it became this place where I could also talk with other people about what was going on in their lives and the work they're doing in the world.
I think it's really interesting because so far you're conversation number 5. And in many conversations with creators, we want people to pick one column or another. And most of the people that I've surveyed or who've stepped in to be a part of this project don't fit clearly into these categories. So I just throwing that in there. It's like I'm not interview or solo, I'm both. I'm not video or audio, I'm both. I really like that. And it fits well with your and what you were talking about before, it's not or, it's and. We exist in both. Okay, so share with us a little bit more. What is the show about?
Well, the way the show started was for me to talk about myself, like my life as a bisexual woman, as a pagan, as a preacher. And it turned into this place where we explore much more than religion and spirituality, talking about things that are going on in the world as things have transformed so much politically. I've been interviewing people talking about leadership, talking about most recently I interviewed someone who used to be in prison, who's created a prison advocacy program for trying to get healthcare for people in prison. I talked to a woman an author who escaped domestic violence and is talking about her life as a survivor and about religion. And so what I'm trying to do is really transcend and talk to people that we don't normally hear from, like these people who have come into my world through networking or through the connections that I've made, so that we are exposing more and more people to different ideas about the things that we keep talking about in the public eye.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so is there a specific audience that you would love to hear this show? Like who are you making the show for?
Mm. I think there's two types of people. One is people who may have been um, marginalized by mainstream religion, who have moved into an activism role in their lives, and they don't quite know how to address what they are doing with their activism. And I think really helping um, I think the people who listen to my show are mostly women, like if you look at the analytics of things. And but I think it's really people who are are wanting to explore different parts of themselves and who have never been given permission to do so.
Beautiful. So you talked a little bit about that. So mostly women, marginalized groups who are looking for those kind of things. Is there a specific community in terms of geography or associations? This is sort of the demographic section. Like, is there a certain community type that you are looking to connect with in your audience?
I really want to connect with people who find themselves in leadership roles, who are really engaged in community building. And I have my new book, Leading from the Heart, is all about intuitive leadership and how are we engaging in community building within our own communities. And so, if there are people out there in the world who are doing that kind of work, really learning how to listen to their intuition and lead from a instead of this top-down approach to leadership, really thinking about how are we building community around our lives and the work that we're doing in the world. I think those are the kind of people that I'm really interested in connecting with.
Very interesting. Any place you're connecting with people, any place in North America, US, the world, and like, is there a geography element to it at all?
There hasn't been so far.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very, very good. All right. So, is it a new show or is it in a new remake, or how long have you been doing this?
I think I've been doing it for 6 years.
Congratulations.
5 or 6 years. Yeah. I started it during the pandemic. So,
Oh, yes, that puts us right. It's an easy one to remember because the pandemic was
yeah.
around number 2020. Exactly. Do you remember and can you share how you got the idea for this show?
I actually was working with a coach who we were doing a lot of work together around intuition and clairvoyance. And so she encouraged me to start the podcast.
I think I know the backstory there, but I'll keep it to myself. Very good. What is something that makes your show unique or different?
I'm sort of no, I'm not sort of. I am unapologetic about the conversations that we have. I don't edit my show, and so it very much is a free flow of ideas and ways of being in the world. And I think we need more of that authenticity and sort of I'm not very formal as a person. And so my podcast definitely, it's not refined. It's not this spectacular production. It's just me having a conversation with another human being or talking about things myself that I think are really important for us to explore.
Very good. So you've been doing this for a while, 6 years. Do you have a moment that stands out of what you've done that is one of your favorites that you can share with us from the show?
I mean, anytime someone can make me cry. I mean, I make other people cry. That's actually some of the work I do is that healing, cathartic, um, emotional release of tears, which I find so fascinating that our body makes salt water. Like, I find that to be the most fascinating thing. But the thing that popped into my head right away is I interviewed a woman named Jay who runs a human trafficking organization. She was trafficked at the age of 16 or 17. And her story just rocked me, just in all the good ways, but also, as we're facing the Epstein files and all the secrecy around trafficking, I think that people would be really surprised to know that it's so prevalent in our communities, every community.
That sounds like a very touching story, a very strong and touching story. All right.
Beautiful.
Do you have any topics or episodes that you know are coming up that you want to highlight and share with us?
I don't. I'm kind of a slacker podcaster. I don't have an agenda. I don't have any upcoming episodes at the moment, but what I've got is real good.
Very good, very good. So this is not a something I've brought up with every single one of the conversations I've had here, but I will go ahead and ask you because it is pretty interesting. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have worked on and about you outside of the show, because I think that relates to the work that you do on your show.
Yeah, so I do a lot of public speaking and community-based workshops talking about spirituality and intuition, how to lead from a space of connection. And I'm I'm at this point. I ran for Congress
You ran for
this last
Congress. Very cool.
ran
Not
for
everybody
Congress.
gets to say that. Let's say it
I ran
again. You
for
ran
Congress
for
this last
Congress.
year. And I learned a lot about what our communities need and what people are craving from leaders. And so I am hoping to take that out into the world and start creating programs and um, speaking about this work that we are really being called to do in the world as we are facing so much upheaval in the country.
All right. Thank you for walking with me on that because I threw you in there. There's, a saying which is like, if you want to, make a community, you have to be a community. If you want to be a leader, you just have to be a leader. And you really resemble that. You didn't just talk about leadership. You stepped up and said, I'm happy to lead. And so wherever I can reward you and promote you for that, I want to do that.
Thank
All
you.
right. So is there a moment in the past 6 years where you have been working on this show where you had an awareness that it was catching on, that it was working?
Yeah, I started to get a lot of messages from people in my email, and they were like, "Thank you so much for what you said," especially early on when I was talking about Christianity and LGBT issues, or witchcraft and magic and spirituality and religion, and how those things are actually not separate; they go together. And so there was a moment very early on where people started emailing me and thanking me for what I said, and I didn't remember saying it. So that happens a lot in my work where people are like, "Oh my God, this resonated so deeply with me, and here's why." And I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing. I have no idea what I said." So and that happens to me a lot. And so there was really this moment where I was just like, "Oh, this people are actually listening to this," where I was like, "Oh, I should keep going."
Excellent. So share with us, this is where we're going to tell people how they can find your show. Now, podcasts are one of these things where it's like everywhere that podcasts are, you can find me. Always true. But go ahead and share with the audience where they can find the show, where you want them to find it if possible. And all of the links will be in the show notes with this video.
If you are really into the video, like watching the videos or having that on in the background, so you're listening and not really watching, I think my YouTube channel is the best place, which is Dr. Melissa Bird on YouTube. I I think, I mean, I put everything through Spotify. That's
Okay.
just the platform I use to record my podcast, and so, or to download my podcast. And so if you've got Spotify, that's a really great place. I really would love people to subscribe to my YouTube channel and connect. There's a lot of other content besides my podcast um, on my YouTube channel, and I have been on there for years. And so it's a really amazing place to connect with me and hear my words and see how I have transformed over time, because I think that's also something really amazing about YouTube in particular, and having been on there as long as I have. There's a You get to see the transformation of how I have evolved and changed. And I think that's really important in this podcasting space because people expect us to be these rigid beings that, you know, have these conversations and they never change their ideas. And I think in particular, my YouTube channel is a really beautiful place to be able to connect with me and see how my work has transformed over time, because I think it gives other people permission to also transform over time.
That's excellent. All right, Dr. Melissa Bird, I want to thank you very much for joining me today on Creator Showcase and talking about your show, The Thinnest Veil. I encourage everybody who's watching and listening to subscribe to her channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and like this video and subscribe too. This is Amy Stone signing off. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap. The Creator Showcase is a copyrighted work created and produced by me, Amy Stone, and Amy Says So. The music was written by my friend Todd Thompson at Dharma Bomb Studios. All rights are reserved. Anything expressed on this show is offered as entertainment, and the views of the guests may not always represent the ideas and viewpoints of the host, other guests, or anybody else involved. And I, Amy Stone, do not intend to hold myself out for as Thanks for watching. That's a wrap. The Creator Showcase is a copyrighted work created and produced by me, Amy Stone, and Amy Says So. The music was written and produced by Todd Thompson at Dharma Bomb Studios. All rights are reserved. Anything expressed on this show is offered as entertainment, and the views of the guests may not always represent or match the ideas and viewpoints of the host or other guests or anybody else involved. So now the fine print. I, Amy Stone, do not intend to hold myself out as a professional providing advice or recommendations of any kind. In the end, you and you alone need to make those kinds of decisions based on your personal and individual situation, needs, circumstances, and comfort level. Yes, it's a little weird for me to speak about myself in the third person, but you get the idea.